Hello everybody, 'tis I, the Rumple One, Tuesday, May 28th, the year 2013. And here's the May 27th edition of Time Magazine with Angelina Jolie on the cover, the Angelina Effect. Okay, let's get into this. This is actually a pretty good issue. Let's see, on the briefing page, we've got Angelina saying, "I made a strong choice that in no way diminishes my femininity." Angelina Jolie writing about her double mastectomy, which says dramatically lowered her risk of breast cancer. Okay, let's see. Today love wins. That's what Tony Laurie, Minnesota State Senator, said after his state became the 12th in the U.S. to legalize same-sex marriage on May 13th. $6 billion. That's the amount collected by U.S. airlines in baggage and reservation change fees in 2012. The largest total amassed since the fees were introduced. How do you guys feel about being charged for bags on airlines? I mean, don't you think you should get the first bag checked free? I mean, come on. And then the reservation change, that's just so wrong. I mean, it's just really wrong. In fact, I really have a beef about reservations because back in the old days, you could buy open tickets. You didn't have to have a name on the ticket and, say somebody couldn't go. Now, if they want to charge you $100 or something to change the name on the ticket, that's just not right. Let's see, 42% of Americans have an unfavorable opinion of hipsters. Hipsters. They just like to label people. Oh, Richard Branson, he's a billionaire dressed as a female flight attendant after losing a bet. Now here's a good one. Obama, there's no there there. Dismissing reports of a Benghazi conspiracy as a sideshow that defies logic. Well, we know Obama just lies. I think he lies so much he doesn't know what the truth is. Okay, here we go. Mitch McConnell said, "This is a whole effort by the administration across the board to squelch their opponents." He's the Senate Minority Leader, and he's criticizing the White House amid allegations that the Internal Revenue Service targeted conservative groups. I mean, we've got elected officials just run wild. It's basically called tyranny. They got a picture here tearing down the roller coaster in New Jersey after Hurricane Sandy demolished it. Okay, let's see what else. We've got some landmarks in peril, the tombs of Askia, and we've got the Portobello San Lorenzo in the Panama Caribbean's coast. They're crumbling down. And the Bomanian Valley, that's over in, they had one of the world's largest Buddhas carved in sandstone. Here's a good one. $127,000 was the cost of a custom bed installed for the Israeli Prime Minister and his wife on a flight to attend Margaret Thatcher's funeral in April. Officials say he wasn't aware of the price tag. $127,000 to install a bed on an airplane? Really? Somebody got gypped. Okay, over in Hong Kong, a court ruled that a transsexual woman can marry a man, making the current law unconstitutional. Where has the world come to? let's see, scandal. A spokesman for South Korean president was fired for sexually harassing a female guide in Washington. This stuff is just nuts. See, we got a picture here, a holder. Says, hunting a leaker, DOJ scans reporters' calls. Then, on immigration, a Hawkeye in no hurry. Iowa's Chuck Grassley has filed 77 amendments to the immigration bill, which we all know is just a crock. And they're talking about having streaming TV on our smartphones. And I guess some of the TV companies don't like it, because what happens is they broadcast their programs for free through the air, and somebody captures that signal, digitizes it, and sends it over the phone lines or over the air to these smartphones. And I guess maybe they charge for the service, and the TV companies don't like that. I mean, you have to wonder. There's all this idea about intellectual property, what's free, what's not. It's kind of interesting. It's just like this magazine. I mean, is this copyright infringement because I read it to people? Okay, milestones. Dr. Joyce Brothers, she died. Let's see, who else? Brian Forbes, he was the British director of the 1975 satire, The Stepford Wives. I didn't realize that was considered a satire. That's a good movie. Let's see, Taylor Mead, one-time Andy Warhol superstar. And then Kenneth Waltz, a political scientist. He says Waltz believed that mankind is not doomed to constant war if governments apply the lessons of balance of power. He regularly challenged conventional wisdom, even arguing that the spread of nuclear weapons would promote peace in unstable regions by making the price of war unthinkable. But if you, once again, you know, when you talk about nuclear weapons, it's basically, you know, somebody like the U.S. is just bullying other countries saying you can't have it. I mean, think about it. If there's a bunch of kids at school and they bullied you because they didn't want you to have a certain kind of tennis shoe or a certain jacket, or they didn't want you to carry a knife because they had knives. It's the same thing, just ramped up. You just have to see the game for what it is, like in ghetto physics. And then let's say a bump on the road to green. Don't worry about Fisker's failures. Overall, clean energy subsidies are working fine. Well, I guess you have to define working fine. If you're the recipient of all that money, yeah, but if you're the taxpayer footing the bill, no. America the isolated. Hardly. Contrary to conservative complaints, the U.S. is fully and smartly involved overseas. U.S. military spending is 39% of the world's total military spending. The next biggest spender is China at under 10%. Military-industrial complex. Ghetto physics. My fellow Americans, this is what we've got here. We have 140,000 U.S. troops stationed overseas, not counting those in Afghanistan. The largest contingent is based in Japan. I did not know that. Did you know that? That's an interesting fact. It says, sorting out the scandals. President Obama deserves the blame, but not for everything. Really? Where does the buck stop? Doesn't the buck stop at Obama's desk? Oh, he probably got rid of that one. Oh, that's right. It's all Bush's fault. Then the Angelina effect, the cover story. Okay, disclaimer. I think Angelina Jolie's hot. All my friends know it. I'll just put it out there. She's in a class all by herself, in my opinion. Remember when they had that Who's Hotter, Jennifer Aniston or Angelina Jolie, and Jennifer Aniston won the poll? I think they were asking women, not men. Anyway, she made the choice to have a double mastectomy rather than take the risk for cancer, or possibly getting cancer because it was in her genes. And now the question is, you know, because she's famous and a lot of fans and followers and people listen to her, there's probably going to be a spike in the number of women doing this. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? It's almost like it's an individual choice. If that's what somebody thinks, then I guess they go for it. How does that affect other people? I'm not so sure. But they thought it was news. Auditing the IRS, how the agency everyone hates went rogue. They've been rogue since their existence. I mean, let's just call it like it is. These guys are bullies taking our lunch money. They work for the government. They are the government. In fact, they're worse than the government, because if the IRS comes after you, you have to prove your innocence. They don't have to prove your guilt. How we let this happen, I don't know. Once again, we the people are in this big pot of water like frogs, and they've just been slowly turning that dial, and the temperature's rising, and the soup's just about done. The YouTube war says in serious sectarian conflict, fighters on both sides are committing gruesome atrocities and showing them off online. And one of the questions is should YouTube allow these gruesome videos? Or should they censor them? What do you think? See, once you start censoring the news, then you start bending the truth. You distort things. Then you'll only show what you want people to see. How's anybody ever going to get to know the other side? Get to hear and then find out what the real truth is. So, yeah, they should be allowed to do it. I mean, they could put disclaimers on it, you know, don't let little kids see people getting beheaded. But if that's what these people are doing, then the world should know about it. And then maybe somebody can take action if they want to. But if you don't know about these things, you're not going to do anything about it. It's just that simple. I mean, things like, I mean, there's still slaves in this world, in this country, the U.S. of A., sex slaves. They got people on these farms, in these, you know, rural communities where they actually have people living underground, and they lock them up at night, and they let them out during the day. You think I'm kidding? No, go check out what's going on in the southeastern USA. Some of those Cubans and Haitians that have come over here. Or go down to Texas and see the Asians locked up. This world, I tell you, in this country is, it's not a nice place sometimes. The end of alimony. American divorce is undergoing its biggest change in decades. Call it the revenge of the second wives. See, I never really believed in alimony in the first place. Probably one of the reasons I never got married. Because, think about it. And it can work both ways. I mean, if the woman's working and the guy's staying at home and she does well, maybe they're not rich, but they say they got a nice home, money in the bank, nice cars, nice clothes, they take nice vacations, and they get divorced, and this guy goes, I want half, like that Eddie Murphy movie. I want half, Eddie, I want half. No, it shouldn't be that way. That's my opinion. Now, some people say, yeah, but it's a partnership. You should get half. I don't know about that. So when you sign on to marriage, that's not really a financial thing, because you're taking a vow till death do us part. So if you break the vow, then you shouldn't really be getting anything. You're breaking a vow. So why should you benefit in any way, shape, or form? I mean, you take what's yours, they take what's theirs, and be over with. But then if that was that simple, then the lawyers couldn't get involved, and the courts couldn't get involved, and the system wouldn't get money. Once again, it's just ghetto physics. Okay, moving on to culture. Let's see, here we go. Christina Aguilera is going to return as a judge on the 5th season of The Voice for a reported $12 million. Isn't that incredible? $12 million. Just let me be on there one season. I'd be set. It's one season, let me be a judge. I'll tell you what, I'll take a tenth, $1.2 million. Randy Jackson said this season of American Idol, the lowest rated in its history, will be his last. Well, you know what? Goodbye, Randy Jackson. I mean, to me, Randy Jackson is a disgrace. He's a disgrace to people my age. He's a disgrace to his race. Talk, hey dog, hey dog. I mean, dog. Speak English. Speak proper English. I mean, who do you think you are? You're too old to be dog. That's just ridiculous. I mean, come on. It just makes me cringe. Whenever I watch, you know, if I watch that show and listen to him talk, and I don't really watch that show that often, but sometimes you might be visiting a friend and they got it on, and we look at it for the laughs. But to me, it's degrading. This is just a bad role model. But hey, that's just my opinion. Somebody might think I'm a bad role model too, but that's their opinion. And we're all entitled to our opinions. And I guess my opinion might not be anybody else's business, so it's that simple. Okay, let's see, what else do we have here? See, $160 million is the reported budget for Fast and Furious 6. I guess they're going to make some money. And then there's some movie, let's see, Before Midnight. It says, Before Midnight is a raw, revelatory portrait of a romance. It might also look like your life. I don't know. I haven't seen any of these movies. Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and Before Midnight's coming out this week, I guess. Now, maybe I'll have to watch those movies and do a review on them, because I don't know anything about them. Okay, what else we got here? Let's see. Khalid Hosseini talks about his latest novel. Nah, I'm not really interested. Electropop duo Daft Punk triumphant new record. Really? Doesn't interest me. The Fabulous Baker Boys. This is a good article, in which my idea to introduce my son to the Easy Bake Oven turns out to be half-baked. I don't know. Are you guys old enough to remember the Easy Bake Oven with the little 100-watt light bulb in there? I remember that. That thing never worked. But they're saying, you know, they're made pink and purple, but they need to make them so guys. So I think they're going to make one maybe in gray or black or camo. But it's this is funny. The last paragraph's really cool though. Here, I'll read it. So I'm glad Hasbro will make boy-friendly Easy Bake Ovens, which I assume will be in colors such as poop, pee, and poop and pee. But I'd rather work on making everyone stop worrying about the small group of us boys who dig pink Easy Bake Ovens, other than the fact that we're going to end up really fat.
to me that was funny. But like I said, if you didn't grow up with an easy bake oven, you know, in your circle, then it probably doesn't matter. And then 10 questions. We got author and secret code enthusiast Dan Brown. Let's see. There was something in here I thought was pretty interesting. Oh yeah, he says, your villain is a transhumanist. Can you explain what that is? He says, transhumanism is an intellectual movement that deals with the ethics and science of using advanced technologies like genetic engineering to improve human physiology. Some people consider it the most progressive and exciting philosophy out there, and some consider it the most dangerous idea in the world. What do you guys think? I mean, it was funny. I was pondering this, and I realized with some of the advancements that have been going on. In fact, I guess right here in Oregon at one of the science centers or research centers, they actually did some, they took some genes and produced stem cells or something like that, but it's groundbreaking. It's revolutionary. But the question is, should we do it? How far should we go? What kind of laws? But I was thinking, and this might sound really weird, but can you imagine, and this is, in fact, this probably make a really cool movie, that there's all these animals, but they had like human heads on them. So you'd see like a tiger with a human head, or a gorilla with a human head, or a cat or a dog, and they were mad scientists was doing this, and of course the animals escaped. But that might sound far-fetched, but you never know with the stuff they're doing. Because they would, of course, do it under research. But then, with the merging technology with humans to enhance our human physiology, which they are doing, then you have like the RoboCops. What was that other movie? Cyborg. And there's a few other movies that talk about that one movie I reviewed, and those end of the world, or actually they were on a spaceship. I think it was, I can't even remember who it was, but where you have these guys that have, you know, bionic type arms like the $6 Million Man or something. And should they be allowed to do it? It's kind of a scary thought. I don't know. I mean, there's good, there's bad. What if they could actually make a human that wasn't human, but you couldn't tell the difference? That'd be scary. That's just something to ponder. Maybe I'll do a full video on it when I think it through a little bit more. But anyway, that wraps up the May 27th review of Time Magazine, The Angelina Effect. Like I said, disclaimer, she's a hottie.